Well, folks, hello, hello. It looks like we are live. I have a green light and all is well. We are here for a yoga class that will start at just at the top of the hour. So, just in about 3 minutes or so. So, while we're waiting, I'll just go ahead and share a reading with you from a book called Meditations from the Mat. It's always 3 a.m., raining, and you are at the intersection of two maps when your country needs you the most. Although I heard this line countless times in the Army, and although it isn't true, I still got the message. The only way to ensure that you will never find yourself in this predicament is to be prepared for it. In that sense, this bit of institutional Army wisdom was helpful to me, for I heeded it as a warning. And I couldn't help but be reassured by the image of all the soldiers who preceded me, men who create a lineage spanning generations, wiping the rain from their eyes and putting the needs of others before their own. The beauty of the human spirit is glimpsed in the willingness of these individuals to be in this situation at all. At another level, this old saying is also a reminder to young recruits not to assign difficulty undue importance. By forewarning us that it's always 3 a.m., we will always be peering through the rain and the dark at the edges of two quickly disintegrating maps. Our elders are also confirming that it is our nature to be able to rise to such challenges. Many of us have high hopes concerning our practice of yoga and our ability to live our yoga. We entertain lofty visions of newfound equanimity, of harmonious balance between our inner lives and our outer reality. Unfortunately, most of us spend our days in something short of this vision: raising children, loving parents, sitting in traffic, waiting anxiously for botched election returns, spilling orange juice on the good suit, or taking an aging parent out to dinner. We must constantly adjust our ideal in order to accommodate real life. We often find that it is 3 a.m., raining, and we are at the intersection of two maps when the world most needs us to live our yoga. And we can do it, and we will do it beautifully. All right, folks, we are at the top of the hour for this Comeback Yoga All Levels class. I'm Tonya. Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization. We are in Denver, Colorado, and we serve anyone that has ever served in the military. Also, anyone that has ever supported you, any of your medical team, your mentors, your friends, anyone that you have had in your life that makes a difference. We are here on this YouTube channel 24 hours a day. We do go live several times a week. We also have classes in person in the state of Colorado. We also have classes in person around the world. So, with that being said, we are going to get our all levels class started. If you have yourself a yoga mat, maybe a yoga block, that could be helpful in your practice today. Not absolutely necessary, but it can make us feel more prepared to have these tools. You are here if you are looking for some basic fundamental instruction on our yoga. Maybe you want to challenge yourself, and maybe you want to take a back seat to some of the postures. And that's why you're here. This all levels class will show you different variations of postures to support you wherever you are at today. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, if you like, you can have a seat as I am, Maybe you'd like to lay down. Maybe you are sitting in a chair. We'll take just about 2 to 3 minutes to just kind of get centered, to find our breath. And sometimes the beginning of these classes, like this, the way that I like to start, can not only be helpful for you as we move into our movement practice, but they certainly are helpful for me as I'm not immune to experiencing a little bit of nervousness every time I teach, even though I've been teaching for 30 years. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get ourselves centered. So, noticing initial distractions in your environment, maybe some outside sounds, something happening in the other room, and then bring your attention to more immediate sounds, maybe the sound coming from the computer, maybe the sound of your breath, and then noticing anything else, maybe smells that are in your environment. If your eyes are open, noticing colors or light, blinking your eyes a few times, maybe even if it feels safe to allow them to close. And if you want to now just really slow your attention down, slow your attention to the inner space, the way and the presence of your breath moving in to your body and the breath moving out of your body. Several more times from the tip of your nose, seeing the breath coming in and down and up and out. One more. Good. All right. And go ahead now. We'll lift our gaze, blink our eyes, and rub our palms together. You can even kind of massage your fingers, your wrists, maybe some movement, shoulders, head. And then circling your elbows, hands to the shoulders, circling those arms, both directions. All right. And then if you were seated like I was, straighten your legs out, pointing and flexing your feet. Maybe a little bit of movement in your knees, pedaling your feet. All right. We are going to start standing for today's lesson. So coming on upright and bringing your feet just about hip width, maybe a little bit wider, just to a comfortable stance. And we'll just kind of move side to side here. It's kind of waking up our hips and knees and ankles. Can even kind of move the knees around here. All right. With your next inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. And then side bend over to one side. Side bend to the other side. Bring your arms up again. Inhale, look up. Even shake out your arms, shake your hands. And then let those arms and knees come down. And then we'll come back up, shake out our arms, maybe even shake our body a little bit. And then exhale, let it out. Swing those arms down and rise back up. One more time, stretch up and exhale. Sweep it down. Okay, coming on upright. Taking your feet out a little bit wider than the hips, not too much wider. We'll turn those toes and knees out and just kind of go side to side, moving through our legs a little bit here, pressing down through the feet. And then coming to center, just kind of hold it here. Stretch your arms up overhead. And then lower your arms and straighten your legs. Bend your knees again. Sweep your arms up and lower your arms, straighten your legs. One more time. Inhale, stretch up and exhale down. Now, with those toes still out, we're coming into a 5-pointed star, stretching out through the arms. Really even feel the fingertips here. Wiggle the fingers or maybe rub them together. Feeling the touch of your hands, the warmth, the roughness, anything like that. And then lower your arms. Turn your toes in slightly. Bend the knees slightly. Hands can be on your upper legs or come all the way down into a standing forward fold. Bringing your hands further down your legs or even onto the floor. Or if you had that block nearby, you can even use your block. Okay, and then come on upright. Bring your feet in. Bringing those feet in a little closer than we were before. Taking your arms forward, flex your wrist. Draw those elbows back and come up onto your toes. Again, inhale, maybe your arms stretch all the way up. Exhale, bend your elbows and lift up onto your toes. 2 more. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, elbows back, up onto your toes. Last one. All right, now keep your arms here, lower the heels, and drop into a chair position as if you were to sit down into a chair, literally. And then press your arms out, reach them up overhead. Maybe your fingertips touch, maybe they don't. And then we'll come back down into that chair here and then straighten out. And let's repeat. Coming into our chair with our wrists flexed, knees bent, elbows bent. Push those hands out. Turn your palms up this time and bring those arms up overhead and maybe the fingertips touch overhead. And then lower down, straighten out the legs. Ooh, okay. Let's step out wide again, coming into that 5-pointed star. Arms reaching out. We're going to move now. So coming maybe a little bit wider, bending the knees to a horse stance. Good. Pressing down through both feet. Now push out through the arms just like we did a moment ago. Reach those arms up overhead, maybe the fingertips touching. And lower your arms down. Now you're going to straighten this leg back here. So if you're mirroring me, turning that leg out and then externally rotate. So turning your other foot so the toes are turned out. Warrior 2. Now we're going to bring those palms in and then press them out. Bring those palms in. We're going to straighten our front leg this time and then press out, bending that knee. Pull in. So now you can be a little wider if you're feeling a little warmer. Press out. Maybe you come a little bit lower. We'll do one more time. Bringing those hands in, legs straightened, and press out. Good. Come back through to a 5-pointed star. Those arms reaching up and wide. And coming back into that horse stance, turning your other leg out, straightening your back leg, and push out through those arms. Good. Pull in, straighten up. Push out, bend. Pull in, straighten. Push out, bend. One more time. Pull in and push out. Keep it out. Turn those heels in. Reach your arms up overhead. 5-pointed star. And then into that horse stance. This time we're going to turn our toes in, heels out, and fold over your legs. Okay. So bringing your feet under your hips and then come all the way up to standing. Turn to face the short edge of your mat, what you might consider the front. Rocking back and forth on your feet to feel your feet beneath you. Notice if there's little variation from side to side, and then find stillness and notice if you're standing more on the heels, maybe 1 foot more on the heels, 1 foot more on the toes, 1 foot more on the outside edges of your feet. Just notice. All right, let's bring those elbows into our sides here, coming down into that chair position. And then tip forward, hands to the floor. Stepping both legs back into a plank position. Your option is to be in a tabletop position. You have another option of coming to the forearms for a plank here. All right. So since this is our first one, let's don't hold it for too long. Go ahead and bring your knees down. Come onto your stomach. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So pointing your toes, parallel those forearms, and lift your chest. And just breathe here. Engage the back side of your body. Stretch out through your toes, pressing the tops of the feet down. All right. Come down, slide those hands back behind the shoulders. Push yourself up and come into a child's pose. The knees go out wide or together, whatever feels better on your body. You can have the hips towards the heels, or maybe your hips stay up. You can also lift your head and shoulders if that feels better, more of a variation, but you're still going to get the stretch in the ankles, in the knees, wherever you feel it. Sometimes people feel it in their back. All right, and come up to your knees. Bring one leg forward. Hands onto your leg. And we'll so we're in this 90-90 position. Probably feel a bit of a stretch here. You could fold the mat up to give your knee a little extra padding, like so. Now take both arms up overhead. Reach up, reach those fingertips to the ceiling. Palms face one another. And bring it down. We'll switch legs so you can use your block to do so. And if you padded that first side, maybe you want to pad the second side. I use 2 mats anyways, but I still need some extra padding. Okay. All right. One or both arms come up and breathe. So feeling that nice stretch coming in the front of your leg. Two more breaths. and take it down. Wonderful. Step forward, coming into the front of the mat, standing forward fold. You can use your block. We'll make your arms a little longer. It's a nice tool to have. Who doesn't want longer arms? Reach up to the tall cabinet, top shelf at the grocery store. Okay, come all the way up, right? Stretch your arms up to the ceiling and then lower your arms down. Okay, let's repeat. We're going to come into that wide stance again. And maybe since you are feeling warmer, you could go even wider, but you do you. And you want to make sure that you still feel stable. Sometimes the wider we go, the less stable it feels. So you should still feel stable. All right, 5-pointed star. So from your hips down through your feet, you feel your whole body enliven. And then bend the knees, horse stance, taking your knees out wide, knees towards the toes. Okay, push the arms out, warrior two. And then pull it in, straighten up your leg. Now, I'll do this 2 more times, and then we're adding the pose. So push out, bend your knee. Pull in, straighten your leg. Push out. And pull in, holding this here. Now grow nice and long, and you're just going to start to tip. You're pushing down from the hips down into the feet, and you're just going to tip and hold it right here. If you like, you can extend those arms out. Maybe you need a little support. Maybe you keep those arms out, or maybe you keep your hands here at the heart. Ooh, a little bit of effort. Feel your whole body wake up enlivened and come up right. Okay. We'll have to heel toe our feet in. I got a little long. 5-pointed star. Really stretch it out. And then bend your knees. Alrighty. Let's do the other side. Push out through those arms like you're creating some resistance here. Good. Pull in. Straighten your leg. Push out. Feel that resistance. Isometrics. Pull in. Now, here we are. We're going to start to tip. So we're pushing down from the pelvis down through the feet. And it's not a fold. It is really an extension. So there's a little micro bend in the front knee. And then if you want to, your arms go out. If you'd like to, your hand can be on your leg for support. Really feeling our lower body, and our underside gets nice and long. Today's session is about reaching, right? About reaching into our potential, reaching out. Find our 5-pointed star, moving out to not the point of injury, right? We can stretch and reach to grow, right? But not to hurt ourselves. Let's come back into our goddess horse stance. Sometimes I call it a unicorn. Okay. And then straighten out. Turn your toes in, heels out, and fold over your legs. Okay, come on up, bringing your feet in, and we'll face the shortage of the mat. If you're using a block, again, to make the arms longer, go ahead and find that. All right, let's come into our chair, palms forward, elbows bent. Lower your hips back and down. Squeeze those elbows towards the wall behind you so your chest will open. All righty. And then tip forward, maybe hands to the legs, the floor, or your block. All right. Now here we are, stepping back into our plank position. Remember those variations. Arms can be straight, knees can be down. You could also be on your forearms. Okay, we're going to add a side plank now this time. So if you'd like to, bring one knee down, side plank. You could also do this from the forearm, right? Could be in the side plank here. Okay, so lots of different variations for everybody. You could also take that bottom knee off of the ground. Okay, let's do the other side. You do you. What are you up for today? Sometimes it's not necessarily what we can or can't do. It's what are we up for? What do we want to do today? Knowing we have autonomy and sovereignty, right? Choice right here on the mat, right? And come back to plank. All right, let's bring it all the way down to our stomach. Take your arms, hands behind the shoulders. So just like when we were in our chair, those elbows will be bent. Your neck is long. You're looking straight down at the mat. And then lift your upper body. Keep the lower body firmly planted. Keep it heavy as you lift your chest. Keeping those elbows bent. All right. Curl your toes under and lift up and back into the child's pose with the option to bend or straighten your arms. And we'll use this little recovery before we do one more round of that. And then we get into our final stretch, literally, where we come to the mat to stretch. It's all a little reach, isn't it? When we challenge ourselves, there's always a little stretch in some way. Okay. If you're with me, let's come back up onto our legs, onto our knees, taking one leg forward for that quad stretch, being our legs can be to 90-90. You could also choose to come lower if you like. So taking your arms up overhead, you're going to feel that sensation maybe in the front of your leg, maybe in the back. Reach up. Okay, and we'll switch the legs out. Reaching your arms up overhead. If you want a little more of a challenge, you can lean back a little, maybe look up to the ceiling or even to your hands, as long as that doesn't strain your neck too much. All right, and either hands to the floor or bring your hands to your front leg. Lean into it and step forward. And then come up right to standing. So that was a little challenge. Maybe keep practicing that. It's always beneficial for us to be able to get ourselves up and down from the floor. Yeah. Okay. Let's come into our final sequence. Same poses, no surprises this time. No extra poses. Okay. So you're in this wide star pose. Maybe you feel like you're a little stronger, a little warmer. Challenge yourself. You go a little wider, but not at the expense of feeling unstable, right? Arms come up, really reach out through your fingers. Notice if you can really find that stretch, find that reach out even more, even more, even more. And then bend your knees, coming into that horse stance. All right, push out. We'll do one side here, warrior two. Maybe you feel that strength, that power. Okay, pull it in, straighten your leg. We got two more like this. Push out, pull it in, push out, and pull in. And then keep it long here, push out for your triangle variation. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. 5-pointed star. Toes out, fingers out. Maybe you feel like you can just take up so much space here. And then come into your horse stance. Push out other direction, bending your knee. Good. Pull it in, straighten, push out, pull it in, push out, and pull it in, palms together, tipping and pressing out. Good. 5-pointed star to the horse, and then tip forward over your legs. Okay. Bringing the feet in, your feet in, step them together, turn to face the short edge of your mat. Bringing those feet under the hips, coming into that chair pose with the elbows bent, dropping your hips back. All right, and then tip forward. Step back into your plank pose. And find your side plank pose. Plank. Side plank. Plank. And come on down. Cobra, hands coming behind your shoulders, elbows bent, neck is long. And push back to child's pose. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths, 5 to 7 breaths a minute. This last child's pose of the class today, maybe you're ready for it. Maybe you've just started to get some momentum going in your practice and you feel like you could do more. So that's the choice, right, that we can make is maybe we need more movement. Maybe we need to continue movement. So I'll leave that to you for the next 30 seconds. Would you like to just slow down a little bit with me? Or are you feeling the need for more push-ups or something, more side planks? All right. So if you're with me, we're going to come up and do pigeon today. So taking one knee forward and your other leg goes back. Now we want to try to keep our hips square to the ground. So this is where a block can come in handy underneath your back hip, like so. So it would look like that. Yep. And can stay upright for a couple extra breaths for some sensation of stretch, or come down maybe onto your arms. Head can come to the mat, back of the hands. All right, and let's come up and back. Come to stand on your knees, stretch both arms up overhead, and then switch sides. Coming down if you desire, or staying upright if you desire. Couple more breaths here. All right, and bringing that front leg back. Come up to kneel again, hands onto your hips. Maybe one arm reaches up overhead, other arm or both arms. And coming on down. We'll take a seated twist here. So legs out in front. And bring one knee in. Take your foot across. Sit up tall. You might even want to sit on that block or on a cushion. We want to try to get forward a little bit. So there's a little tilt in our pelvis. Our spine is nice and tall. And then from that tall position, then is when we rotate. This is when we turn towards that front knee. If your arm needs a little support, your hand needs a little support, you can use that block if you had one, or if your arm is long enough, your hand comes to the floor. So a lot of yoga is really about proportions, how long our arm is in relationship to our upper body, for example, or in relation to our legs. Sometimes certain poses may not be accessible to us because we just don't have the proportions that make certain things available. It's not about flexibility, it's about what's available. All right, let's do the other side. Twisting, lengthening as you turn. And come on around. Both legs straight out in front of you. You can have those toes flexed. And bring your arms up overhead. Exhale and reach for your feet. Maybe again, you just have your hands come to your ankles, feet. And coming on upright, bring one foot in, the knee comes out, and reach up and over again to your straight leg. You're going to feel this in the hip and the low back. And come on upright. Switch, hinging forward over your straight leg. All right, come on up. Move those knees, point and flex the feet. And we're coming down onto our backs. Stretch out your whole body. And we'll do a crescent shape here. So you're going to walk your legs and your upper body over to one side, keeping everything just kind of parallel and on the floor. So it may not be a big side bend, but just enough to get a little stretch in the front of your hip, maybe along your outside, your back. Other side. Come on back to center. Bring both of your knees in towards your chest, maybe lifting your head and shoulders up. And coming on down. Now, this is typically where we would take about 5 minutes or less to just get recentered again, just called deep relaxation. You can be sitting, which I'm going to do. You could be on your back, your side, or you could uh, skip this altogether, although that is not my recommendation. But with that being said, you do you, friend. I don't want you to feel like you have to stay. I want you to experience this guided relaxation as a way to integrate back into the day. It's just 5 minutes, under 5 minutes, really. And it can be the most beneficial part of your day. And in fact, if all you did was this every day, you'd be amazed at the results. So, we're going to work with a breathing exercise here. And just going to tap in and take a moment to literally notice yourself breathe. All right. So now we're going to breathe together. Each breath will be about 5 counts, and we'll do several rounds, about five rounds of 5 count breathing. So it'll be 5 counts in, 5 counts out, with just a short pause in between. So letting your next exhale go. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just letting that go. Maybe you still would like to count your breath for several more rounds. You choose what might be best for you. Maybe you've noticed that since there is now a different pace to your breath, that it feels natural. Or maybe you'd like to have just allow your breath to return to what feels like its new normal, its new rhythm. And go ahead now and bring your attention back to the room, back to your surroundings, and finding some movement, blinking your eyes open and closed. And when you feel ready to come upright, do so if you were laying down. And I just want to thank you so much for your presence today. Thank you for being here, for staying, for showing up, for you doing you. On behalf of all of us at Comeback Yoga, we are so grateful for your presence in our lives, in our world, in our community. And I hope to see you again soon on the internet. Have a beautiful day. Take good care of yourself.